Hi, and welcome to BremSter Puzzles, and back to the World Puzzle Federation's 2015 Round 4 set, and this is Classic Sudoku 5. Now, this puzzle was worth a total of 65 points when it was included in the pack, which would have meant it was supposed to be done in probably around 10 minutes by champion solvers and about 12.5 minutes by fast solvers. Now, this is the puzzle that my testers turned around and said was just brutal. And that one of my testers has written up a guide for that I can follow. Now, I have solved this puzzle yesterday using the guide. This is not a blind solve for me, and I'm going to try and work through it and see what I can remember. And then I've got the guide sitting on the screen next to the puzzle that I can refer to when I need it, because what I want to do is showcase what is found, because Classic Sudoku is not my forte, and some of the techniques used in this are definitely quite tricky. So bear in mind, if you're trying to compete against my time, you are almost certainly doing better, because I've not even tried this puzzle without being able to refer to a guide. I don't think I could have. I probably could have solved this, but it would have taken me. My guess is it probably would have taken me about 40 or 50 minutes to solve this puzzle. Let's have a look at the rules. So I've got normal Sudoku rules. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Now, one thing to be aware of course, is that with puzzles like these competition puzzles, often what is supposed to happen is you are supposed to get to a point where there is a limited selection of digits and make an educated guess as to what they could be. Try that guess out, and if it doesn't work, go back and use the other option. Remember, the goal when you're solving these quickly is to get the right answer as quickly as possible, not have a clean logical solve. What I'm trying to demonstrate here is a clean logical solve. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. So, 3 puts 3 in one of those two. 2 and 2 puts 2 in one of those two. 5 and 5 puts 5 in one of those two. 6 and 6 puts 6 in one of those two. 3 and 3 puts 3 in one of those two. 6 and 6. Wow, there's just a lot of pointing pairs in this. Because 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 9, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Wow. Okay. Interesting pattern. 4 and 4 puts 4 in one of those two. 1 is in one of those two. 7 and 7. Wow, this is crazy. 6, yeah, I've done the 6. So let's actually stick to a single digit for a little bit longer. 3 and 3 puts 3 in one of those two. 3 and 3 puts 3 in one of those two. 4, 4, 4, no. 4. Well, oh, here we go. 4 and 4 puts 4 in one of those two, but that 4 is looking up. So that is a 4. Which means in this box, 4 is in one of those two, but that 4 says not there. So that's a 4, which puts 4 in one of those two, but that 4 looks down, making that a 4, which says that's not a 4, and that's a 4. Okay, and that's all of the 4s. Now 5 and 5 looks across, making that a 5, which by pencil marks makes that a 3, which looks across saying that's not a 3, and that's a 3. Which puts 3 in one of those two. Now I've got 3s pencil marked into those cells, so I can't put 3 into any of those cells or those. This becomes a 3. Okay. This is a triple. Do I want to pencil mark that? Maybe 6, 7, and 8. I actually hadn't noticed the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 last time I solved this. I think I was focusing on the guide. This time I'm not actually going straight to the guide like I did last time. These are 6, 7, and 8 without that being a 6. Okay. I've done all the 4s. No, 5, 5. Oh, 5 is in one of those two, but not there. That's the 5, which puts 5 in one of those two. Seven. Well, 7. Why do I have 7 pencil marked in the... Oh, okay, because of the 7 there. I was about to say this is a 6, 7 pair, but that's not the way it works, is it? Not quite. Three. One is in one of those. 2, 3, 4. 5 is in one of those. I think I remember this. This digit, it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 9. So this is 6, 7, or 8, and this is a 6, 7, 8 triple. So these, oh, this can't be an 8. So 8 is in one of those two, which puts 8 in one of those two. But 6 is in one of those, and 6 is in one of those. So in this row, this is a 6, 8 pair, which is actually resolved, 8 and 6. And this is a triple, 1, 5, 9, and that can't be a 9. So 9 is in one of those two, but this box is also missing 1, 5, 9, but that can't be a 9, that can't be a 1. Okay. 2 is in one of those two because of the 2 looking down. So these are from 1. They can't be 2, 3, 4, 1, 7, 9. There's no 9 there. So this is only 1 or 7. These are from 1, 2, 7, 9. So 9 is in one of those two. I'm very tempted to now look at what I'm missing according to... This isn't a 6. So 6 is in one of those two, meaning this is not a 6. That's a 7 or an 8. One and 2. Oh, yeah, I've already got the 6. But 1 and 2 are in those. So one of 1 and 2, if not both, are over there. Can I put both 1 and 2 in here? That would make these 3, 8, 9. Yeah, I think so. I know at one point the guide says pencil mark all of the cells, which really does just feel terrible. It's like, really? You just got to put center marks in absolutely everything? It's like, yep. Three, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 7. 8 is in one of those. Okay, what am I missing? It says to mark column 9. So these are 1, 5, 1, 2, 5, and 8. So these cells are from 1, 2, 5, and 8. There can't be a 2 or a 5 here. There can't be a 5 here. I've already got this one down. This one can't be an 8. I'm not sure what that's doing for me. Oh, no. What I missed was this is a 6. Not sure what that's doing for me yet either. So this is now a 5, 6 pair. That's what it's doing for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 7, 8, 9. I had just missed that. I didn't need the guide for that. These are 7, 8, 9. So not sure. Is it row 2? 1, 7, 8, 9? So this is 1, 8, 9. No, that's not the place to look. It does, okay, it says to mark this triple, which is 7, 8, 9 again. This isn't an 8, this is a 7 or a 9. Ah, this isn't an 8. Give me this 8, which puts 8 in one of these two, which I could have got by the fact that where is just 8 in this column. But these are 1, 7, and 9. With 1 in one of those two. Okay. Now the next one is the mentioned in the guide is the first advanced trick that is used in the puzzle, and I'm not sure if it's available now. So what it says is in row 5 and in row 8 there is a finned X-wing on 2s, because 2 in this row can only go here, and 2 in row 8 can only go in those cells, because none of these can be 2s and none of these can be 2s. And that puts a restriction on this cell, which is apparently important, because now if this was a 2, I couldn't put 2 in any of those cells, and that would mean in this row 2 would have to go here, and in this row 2 would have to go here, and column 6 would be broken. So this cell, row 9, column 7, cannot be a 2. So it can be a 1, it can't be a 2, it can be a 3, it can't be 4, 5, it can be 6, it can't be 7, 8, 9, but it cannot be a 2. So this is restricted to 1, 3, and 6. And apparently that is an important step to notice at this point. But all it does is give me that as 1, 3, 6 only. Because now what I need to look at is column 5 and 8, and notice there's another finned X-wings on, I believe it's on 8s. No, it's column 3 and 9. 8s can only go in those cells, and 8s can only go in those cells. And that means that this cell here cannot be an 8. Because if this was an 8, what would happen is none of these cells could be 8, and in column 3, this would have to be an 8, and in column 9, this would have to be an 8. So this cell here cannot be an 8, and this is a finned X-wing. And it's like a normal X-wing, except any cell that sees all 3 cells on this fin cannot be an 8. So with a normal X-wing, if this cell couldn't be an 8, with a normal X-wing, anything in these rows could not be an 8. But with the addition of this cell, anything that can't see these 3, anything that sees these 3 cells cannot be an 8, because this cell, if it was an 8, in this column would force that to be an 8, and in this column would force that to be an 8, and row 2 is broken. So this cannot be an 8, and apparently that is required for this step of the solve. Bear in mind, this is only the start of what is needed to solve it. That means that the 8 in box 4 must be one of those. This cannot be an 8. Now that does not, which doesn't actually resolve anything here, because this could still be an 8 if it doesn't actually eliminate this cell, because eliminating this cell doesn't, with like a normal X-wing would have eliminated 8 from here, but it doesn't do that because of the fin here, because an 8 could be here, an 8 could be here, and an 8 could be here, and everything is fine. All it eliminated was this cell, something that saw all 3 of the cells, including the fin. It's a very weird concept of finned X-wing, and I consider it a technique that I'm not a fan of it. It's probably my least favorite simple-ish constraint. And now there's another one, which is a finned X-wing on 9s in these columns. What? No, that can't be right. Oh, 5 and 8. So where can 9 go in this column? Well, 9 can't go here. So 9 is in one of those 3. No, it's not. It's in one of those 2. And in column 8, 9 can be here, here, or here only. So any cell that sees all of those can't, any cell that sees all of these 3 can't be a 9. Because if it was a 9, Yeah, this can't be a 9, this can't be a 9, this can't be a 9, that can't be a 9, that can't be a 9, none of those can be a 9. So any cell that sees all three of these, which is basically that cell, or that's, no, that cell doesn't see that one. This cell can't be a 9. Because if this was a 9, in this column, that would have to be a 9, and in this column, that would have to be a 9. So this can be 1, can be 2, it can't be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it could be 8, it can't be 9. That feels right. So this is only 1, 2, or 8. Oh, except 8 is looking across here. So this is only 1 or 2. Okay. Now we proved this couldn't be a 2. Bear in mind, I had someone who actually solves these classic Sudoku as a serious hobby show me these. Now, I think what I'm looking for now is where is 2 in column 6 and where is 2 in column 9? Because this is what's called a skyscraper, which is similar to a Fendexwing, just a little bit simpler, because any cell that sees both of those for the same reason cannot be a 2. If this cell was a 2, then it would see both of those, and in this column, this would need to be a 2, and in this column, this would need to be a 2, and we'd have broken row 8. So this, if we mark this row, which is 2, 7, 8, 9, this cell here can't be a 2, this cell can't be a 2, we now have a 7, 8, 9 triple, that's a 2, which means this isn't a 2, this is a 2, which means 2 is in one of those two, and it got me that 7, 8, 9 triple. So this is 1, 7, or 9. Okay. So 2 is in one of these two. And this is where I hate solving off guides, because where the guide now turns around and says, and now you can basically solve by Sudoku, I'm out of the flow of the puzzle. And being out of the flow of the puzzle, this can't be a 7. Yeah, 7 is in one of those two. Yeah, this can't be a 7 because of multiple 7s looking at it. But when you're out of the flow of the puzzle like this, it really doesn't help you then solve anything. These are 1, 7, 9. So this is 1, 1 or 9. This is 1 or 7. Uh, The next step of the guide says it eliminates 9 from here, and that's not helping me. Because I've already got that. If this is a 7, this is an 8, and this is a 9. And if this is a 9, so if this is a 9, this can't be a 9. If this is a 7, this is an 8, this is a 9, and that can't be a 9. That is not a 9. This is a 1-8 pair. So there's no 1 here. This is the 1, which makes that the 7. The 1 looks down, making that the 9. The 7 looks across, making that the 6. The 6 and the 7 make that the 8 and that the 7. The 7 looks up, making that the 9, which looks across, making that the 7 and that the 9. The 9 looks across, making that the 7, taking 7 out of there. The 1 and the 8, of course, makes this 2. This digit that hasn't been placed is the 9, which takes 9 out of there, which I could have done from the box. The 6 looks up, making that the 5 and that the 6. The 5 looks down, making that the 9, taking 9 out of there. This is a 1-5 pair. It's a 7-8 in the column. This row has got its 8, so there's no 8 in here. This is a 1-2. The 7 and the 9 is looking down, making that the 1, which makes that the 7 and that the 9. The 7 looks across, making this the 8, taking 8 out of both of those, or out of that. The 7 looks across, making that the 6 and that the 7. The 6 looks back, saying that's not the 6, and by pencil marks, this becomes the 6, which looks back, making that the 7. Could have done that using the box. The 1 means that there's, the 1 makes this the 5 and this the 1, and what hasn't been placed in this row is a 2. What hasn't been placed in this row is a 5. The 2 looks up, making this the 1 and this the 2. The 1 looks up, making this the 8 and this the 1. The 1 looks down, making this the 3 and this the 1. The 3 says this isn't the 3, this is the 3. I haven't placed an 8, 9 in this box. The 9 makes this the 8 and this the 9. The 7 and the 9 make this the 8. This is the 1 that hasn't been placed in the box. The 8 looks up, making this the 7 and this the 8. Now that took me 20 minutes with a guide sitting in front of me. I shouldn't have ticked like on this puzzle. It's a habit now. I am not a fan of puzzles like this, I have to admit. So that used multiple finned X-wings, a skyscraper, and basically a Y-wing off this cell to eliminate 9 from here, making this a 1-8 pair. But finned X-wings, I think are... I don't enjoy them. I find them really hard to spot. And if I can find them, but basically if I was looking for finned X-wings, the way I would normally find them is I would turn around and I would just highlight, where can 1s go in the grid? Can I see a pattern? Where can 2s go in the grid? Can I see a pattern? The ability to just find them by looking at a grid and going, oh, look, there is this. When you're dealing with Sudokus with constraints, often the Sudoku element is what is there to allow the constraint to be a thing, rather than the digit placement is there to enhance the logic of the of what the constraints are doing. Consider it the difference between a jigsaw puzzle with a picture on it and the same jigsaw puzzle without the picture. I consider classic Sudoku with advanced logic in it, and I consider advanced logic to be basically anything harder than an X-wing, to be a jigsaw puzzle with no picture. And they're just uninteresting and bland, because very often, not always, but very often, there's just nothing to look for, and I don't find them interesting. I know people do, and I know people enjoy solving jigsaw puzzles, which are just all white. But yay, not my thing. I will try and keep doing this, and I thank my tester who did this for me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for making the guide for me so I could do this video, and hopefully if you're trying to improve your classic skills, this will help you. I do want to recommend a channel called Smart Hobbies, who does focus on classic techniques and how to find these things. But when it comes to doing puzzles like this, quite often, they're just, yeah. The puzzle was, and I've been told other puzzles in the set, we're about to move on to the variants, also have the concept of where the variant rules are in place to then reveal a tricky classic. And I don't find those interesting. Unfortunately, that's the way this month's puzzles are set. And I've set myself a challenge of trying to do them. Presenting the videos, I'm going to be honest about my opinion. And it is my opinion. People have tried to say I'm not allowed to express my opinion on my channel. It's my opinion. I'm going to say what I feel. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope the warnings that came with this puzzle were enough that if you're not interested in hard classics, you chose not to do this one. If you are interested and you got stuck, hopefully the video was able to get you through. I take no credit for that whatsoever. Thanks everyone for watching, and as always, good luck with your solving.